This is Kyle Madson with your top stories on Sports 1140. Ohio State University announced this morning that the head football coach Urban Meyer will step down after the team's Rose Bowl appearance in January. Offensive coordinator Ryan Day is set to take over for him in that head coaching spot. Week 13 of the NFL wrapped up last night. The Eagles beat Washington 28-13 behind a couple of touchdown passes from Carson Wentz. The Eagles are a game back of Dallas now in the NFC East. And the Sacramento Kings are back in action tonight. In Phoenix, they're taking on the Suns. Our coverage of Sports 1140 begins with game night at 4:30, Kings Live at 5:30, and tip-off is slated for 6 o'clock. It's 7:02, time to call Sierra Pacific to get up to $1,600 off a new Lennox furnace. Keep your home cozy and warm this winter. 800-551-3040 or SierraPacific.com. Those are your top stories. Now time for the second hour of The Drive on Sports 1140 KHGK.
Rise and shine, sleepyhead.
I'm not letting you go to work today.
Wait, what?
Everybody, listen up.
Welcome to The Drive.
Morning, morning, morning.
You're gonna talk.
Get on the phone at 339-1140.
Pretty awesome, huh?
Jump in on our text line at 441140.
Everyone is talking about it. You must know that.
The Drive starts now.
Kayte Hunter, thank you on the text line for pointing that out. I've been saying, I'm sorry, man. It's. I still say David Carr. Well, I don't anymore. I corrected myself. But I had a problem up until last year when I started donating money to the Red Cross every time I screwed it up with David and Derek Carr. So forgive me if Kayte Hunter is going to still be an issue, but I just caught it. Kayte Hunter, formerly Kayte Christensen, will join us at 7:35. Matt Barrows, formerly Matt Barrows, will also join us at 8:05 on the Fire Wings hotline. 21 different flavors to choose from, firewings.com. Just wing it. I mean, really, just wing it. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. All right, he's been holding. Let me get to him. Jerry, you're on the drive. Hello, Jerry.
Hey, good morning, guys. Morning, Kyle. Morning, Dave. Yeah, I wanted to chime in on this Doncic Bagley thing.
Well, please do.
I don't understand it. I like Bagley a lot. I'll take a big any day over anybody else on the team. I mean, whether he becomes a Kevin Durant or another Giannis is, you know.
I love you, Jerry. I'm sorry. See, here's the thing. I didn't want to get into, and it's my fault, but I didn't want to get into Doncic versus Bagley. My point was when talking about things like Colin Kaepernick or other hot button issues, you cannot even bring those guys up in the same sentence without it being an issue. You see what I'm saying? It's not about Bagley versus Doncic necessarily. It's about why can't we talk about Doncic at all? And then we get back into the whole debate between the two. And it's 20 games into the season. We don't know. Right?
We don't.
We don't know.
Hey, Peak Financial wants to talk retirement. Dial pound 250 and say the word money.
Money?
Money.
Kings take on, I love you, Jerry, but I just didn't want to, Kings, Suns, tonight. 5:30 pregame, 6 o'clock tip. Right here on Sports 1140 KHTK. Kings get a big win over Indiana. We already covered that, obviously. Now they go into Phoenix, and they are favored by 6 points.
When was the last time the Kings were favored by 6 on the road?
Yeah, I can't tell you. Honestly, probably some game last year. In fact, I'd be.
Was it the Atlanta game where they got thumped by 40?
I'd be very curious to see what the Kings line was going into Phoenix last year in the game that Earl Watson got fired the game before. It probably wasn't 6, but I would imagine they were favored.
I'm on it.
Yeah, this is a game they should win. This is a game, we talk about should, woulda, coulda. It's okay to get the expectations up now a little bit. They should win this game. No Devin Booker, as we said. The matchups almost completely favor the Kings. I also like seeing Josh Jackson and De'Aaron Fox because when we want to talk about crediting the front office, Imagine if that had been flipped and the Kings had drafted Josh Jackson before De'Aaron Fox. And what I mean is, had the Kings had Phoenix's pick. How does Phoenix feel? They're going out right now looking for a free agent or a G League point guard. Meanwhile, Josh Jackson, and he's very young. The book is not closed on Josh Jackson whatsoever. But imagine being a Suns fan and looking at Josh Jackson, who's averaging 8 points and 3 rebounds on 39.9% shooting, including 24% from behind the arc, 62% from the free throw line. He's just not good right now, and he's older than De'Aaron Fox. Imagine being a Suns fan and being in that predicament of needing a point guard and really getting basically next to nothing out of the guy you drafted ahead of De'Aaron Fox. So I think it's okay for Kings fans to feel a little bit good about that. How many times have we had to talk about Giannis Antetokounmpo or Damian Lillard or Klay Thompson? You know, the list goes on and on of picks that the Kings missed on that other guys got. Well, that's kind of, we're still early. We're only 1.5 years, if that, into the Josh Jackson versus De'Aaron Fox debate. But I think right now we can feel pretty good about the fact that we didn't draft Markelle Fultz. We didn't draft Lonzo Ball. We didn't draft Josh Jackson. Jason Tatum's the only guy taken ahead of the Kings who picked Fox at 5. And I don't think anyone's sitting around going, I wish we had Jason Tatum. He's a good player. You wish you had him. Don't get me wrong. But, excuse me, I wish we had Jason Tatum over De'Aaron Fox. I don't think is any Kings fan feeling like that? Because I haven't heard that one. Wish we could have traded up and gotten Jason Tatum instead of De'Aaron Fox.
No, because I think Fox has been a productive player. And there wasn't really any talk of the Kings trading up.
No. Point being, the Kings right now, very early in, a season and a quarter into the experiment, the Kings have a better player than 3 of the 4 teams that picked ahead of them in that draft. And I'm just saying, if we're going to kill ourselves over Klay Thompson and Damian Lillard, et cetera, can we get a little tiny bit back with that pick, especially going into Phoenix tonight? Can we get a little bit of a good feeling that we picked the right guy? I'd be apoplectic if I was a Suns fan. You think the Kings are mismanaged over the years? Well, yeah. Not to mention, that's not the greatest sports town.
It's tough down there.
Yeah.
Because there's so many transplants.
It's so weird, too, because it's so freaking hot for 6 months out of the year that you'd figure, indoor things? Yes. I think the problem is that football and basketball take place in the only months where it's safe to go outside.
It's also worth noting that, like I said earlier, there's very few, I say very few, the proportion of people not born and raised in Phoenix to the people born and raised in Phoenix is probably much closer to 50-50 than it is anywhere else in the country.
They call those the snowbirds, correct?
Nope.
No? Well, that's what they were called.
Snowbirds are
the people that moved
retired
to Phoenix for
people
the winter?
that come to Phoenix for the winter. I'm talking about straight up transplants.
Oh, I got you.
A lot of Chicago fans down there.
Is that like the New York to Florida thing?
Sure.
Okay. Kobe Bryant says the growing pains LeBron James and the Lakers have endured for much of the season are a necessary evil, saying that they will figure it out. Also saying that they will win a championship again soon. I saw that, We'll win a championship soon before you know it, so everybody relax.
Thanks, Kobe.
So enjoy the journey because we'll be champions before you know it, and then we'll just be laughing at all the Warrior fans who all of a sudden came out of nowhere.
Got him. Boom.
Because they'll be taking their Warrior jerseys off and getting their old Lakers jerseys out.
The irony there, like, do you know what team you played on? dumbass.
I was looking last night since I actually made a mistake. I think since 1995, I said the Kings had drafted the same amount of All-Stars, DeMarcus Cousins and Peja Stojakovic, that the Lakers had drafted. The Lakers, and those two All-Stars were Marc Gasol, who never played for the Lakers, and Andrew Bynum, who I completely forgot Andrew Bynum was an All-Star.
Wow.
I had actually looked that up off of Wikipedia to confirm it. And I messed up because I was just looking at first-round picks. I missed Isaiah Thomas. I don't know how I missed Gerald Wallace. He was a first-round pick, but I did. And then, Hassan Whiteside. Now, the argument there is that, well, the Kings drafted higher than the Lakers almost every single year because of the Lakers' success. But the only thing that frustrates me, and it is sour grapes, is that if you're a Laker fan or if you're Kobe Bryant or whomever, please at least be aware that you have a geographical advantage over almost every other team. LeBron James didn't sign with the Lakers because they're an awesome place to go and really well run. If the Lakers were in Oklahoma City or Minneapolis or Sacramento, LeBron James isn't signing with them.
Right.
Kudos to the Lakers for trading for Kobe Bryant on draft day. One of the greatest trades in NBA history. But when you look at the long list of free agents that the Lakers have been able to grab, since that 1995 season where the Kings drafted 4 All-Stars to the Lakers, the Lakers have won 5 championships. Is that sour grapes? Yes. Is it a completely logical argument? No. Does it make me hate the Lakers more? Yes. Am I asking questions and then answering myself? Yes.
That time I answered you.
Thank you. 4-down territory is next. John Gruden, he did it on purpose, right? The Packers, Aaron Rodgers won't have a say in who the next coach is. We got a few things to get here. The drive continues. 4-down territory next. Kayte Hunter at 7:35 right here on Sports 1140 KHTK. Four-down territory brought to you by Fire Wings. The Nashville Fire Chicken Sandwich debuts at the Howe Avenue location this Saturday. First 500 people to show that they follow Fire Wings on Instagram. That's Fire Wings CA. On Instagram, get a free Sammy. I tried it last week. It's darn good. Kyle, talk to me about how great that sandwich was. Oh, you can't because you didn't go. All right, well, the rest of you have an opportunity to go this Saturday at the Howe Avenue location.
Yeah, throw me under the bus, man.
More like throw you under the Fire Wings truck that I hope they get someday.
That'd be really cool.
I agree.
I would drive around a car decked out in fire.
What?
I would drive a car decked out in like Fire Wings.
Oh, would you?
Stuff.
You say that because we could actually make that happen.
Dude, I'll do it.
We could turn your car into a Fire Wings car. There's always a deal to be made. First down.
John Gruden said he threw his illegal challenge flag, quote, on purpose. Do you believe him? No.
I saw this. Yeah, I threw it on purpose. I threw it on purpose. I was trying to challenge Al Riveron, give him an opportunity to know what they did. No, you didn't. You didn't know. You didn't know. So just live with it. You didn't. Well, made a mistake. All those years of Monday Night Football booth sitting got me. You're 2 of 4 on challenges this year. That's 50%. That's not terrible. It's a lot better than you were before you went to Monday Night Football. Just own it. Kyle, I would so much rather somebody own a mistake, even if it's a dumb mistake. The thing I hate, my daughter does this to me all the time, is I'll be like, hey, you were eating cookies earlier. There's cookies on the floor. I wasn't eating cookies. She's got Oreos all over her mouth. I'm like, dude, just now you're in trouble. You weren't in trouble before. Now you're in trouble.
Right.
Just admit it.
Yeah, I think I would respect much more because he goes, yeah, I threw that on purpose because I wanted to challenge the referee and talk to. If he had just been like, you know what, man?
You know what, man?
Heat of the game. I disagreed with the call, and it's just an instinct to throw the flag. My emotions got the best of me. I need to, I should have taken a deep breath and realized the situation. And I think that's a much better explanation than, yeah, I did it on purpose. It's trash.
It's dumb. Second down.
Second down.
The Packers say Aaron Rodgers won't have a say in the new head coach. Do you believe them?
I mean, it just depends on how you define having a say. I don't think they're going to be like, hey, we're thinking of hiring this guy. Your thoughts, yes or no? And then you can't give a guy a hiring control as a player. But it's like any superstar. It's like when Luke Walton gets fired this year or this summer. Do you not think that Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka are going to have a conversation with LeBron James? Of course they're going to have a conversation with LeBron James.
Yeah, and having some say is different than having all the say.
Yeah.
He's going to have some input. And I don't think, like you said, I don't think it's his decision is going to be the final one. If they're like, you know what, we love, give me Hugh Jackson. Just roll with me here. If they're like, we love Hugh Jackson, we want to bring in Hugh Jackson. Hugh Jackson's our guy. Aaron, Hugh Jackson's our guy. Like, what do you think? And he goes, you know what, I don't think I can work with him. They're going to take it into account and maybe reevaluate something, but they're not going to go, wait, Aaron said no? Okay, never mind.
Well, that brings us to third down.
Third down.
The Packers say Aaron Rodgers won't have a say in the new head coach. Should he?
Yeah, see, there's a difference here. I don't believe the Packers when they say he won't have a say. I think they'll consult him at least.
It's the right thing to do.
But should he? Absolutely. He is your entire franchise. He is the entire franchise. He shouldn't have final say. But let's go with your Hugh Jackson point. It would be utterly idiotic to have Hugh Jackson replace Mike McCarthy.
Right. I picked Hugh Jackson, by the way, just because I couldn't think of another.
I got you. But it's a great example. So if the Packers
Thank
do
you.
their
I
due
picked it on
diligence,
purpose.
well done. And then over the summer they say, hey, we're thinking of going with Hugh Jackson, Aaron. Your thoughts? They need to give the franchise player an opportunity to go, guys, if you do that, I need to go. Like, that would be the stupidest thing ever. He hasn't won a game since 1942. Well, the one, whatever. I need to go. I'm not doing that. No, you're stupid. I'm not. You have 1,000 other coaches to pick from, but it can't be that guy. It can't. Now, you're not going to go to Randall Cobb and say that. You're not going to go to Aaron Jones and say that. You're not even going to go to Clay Matthews and say that. Your franchise has no chance without Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
You ask the guy the question. Fourth down.
Fourth down.
Philly plays next in Dallas. Is that game for the NFC East title, or would you go that far?
I think, listen, we're in what, week 14?
Yeah, going into 14.
So that gives you 4 more weeks. If Philly wins, they're tied with Dallas at top of the NFC East, and they got the big Mo at that point. They got a little bit of momentum. This isn't a de facto NFC East Super Bowl because either team that loses, obviously if Dallas loses, they're still tied. They have a much better shot than, say, the Eagles, who will be 2 games back and a little behind the 8 ball. But yeah, if you said to me, Dave, would you bet on the winner of this game winning the NFC East? I would say yes. Barring injury, yes. Whoever wins Philly at Dallas, I would bet that team wins the NFC East.
Do you have Philly's schedule in front of you?
Do I have Philly's schedule in front of me? No, but I can momentarily. Philly, and here we go. Ooh.
What's Philly's schedule look like?
It looks like at Cowboys, at Rams, Texans, and at home, and then at Redskins. All right, so the Redskins will be a win. The Texans at home, I mean, hey, you don't even believe in the Texans.
Here's who the Cowboys have. They're at the so home for the Eagles. So let's say the Eagles win.
Mm-hmm.
So they're tied. The Cowboys finish. They're at the Colts, home Bucks, at Giants.
Much easier schedule.
Much easier.
By
schedule.
far.
So if the Cowboys win this game, I think they win the NFC East. If the Eagles win it, I think it's a toss.
I completely agree with you, and that's why I was saying that if the Cowboys win, you can probably put it away. If the Eagles win, it's not as sure of a thing with Dallas. The thing with the Eagles is they're still the defending Super Bowl champions.
And if they get the play from Carson Wentz that they got last night, where he was mobile, he was moving around, then I think they're dangerous. But they have to string these wins together for me to be in on them.
Actually believe in them? Yeah. We'll take a break. Kayte Christensen returns to the...
Kayte Hunter.
We got to have a sounder or something every time I say that. Kayte Hunter will join us when we get back, 7:35. So that's about 10 minutes from now. We'll be back in about 3 minutes. When we while we go to break, Kyle, today is National Cookie Day. I want you to think during the break, if you had to pick one cookie for the rest of your life, which cookie would that be?
Okay, that's tough.
Anything else you want to say before we break?
Yeah, Peak Financial wants to talk retirement. Dial pound 250 and say the word money.
Money. If you want to talk retirement, Peak Financial. We'll be right back. I just want to put a song in there. It's The Drive. Back with Kayte Hunter next on Sports 1140 KHTK.
Oh, hey, didn't see you there. This is Kyle Madson with your top stories on Sports 1140. Ohio State University announced this morning that head football coach Urban Meyer will step down after the team's Rose Bowl appearance in January. Offensive coordinator Ryan Day is set to take over for him in the head coaching role. Week 13 of the NFL wrapped up last night. It was the Eagles all over Washington, 28-13. The Eagles are now just a game back of Dallas in the NFC East. And your Sacramento Kings are back in action tonight. They are down in the desert to take on the Phoenix Suns. Our coverage on Sports 1140 begins at 4:30 with game night. Then Kings Live is at 5:30. Tip-off with the G-Man is set for 6 o'clock. It's 7:31. Time to call Sierra Pacific to get up to $1,600 off a new Lennox furnace. Keep your home cozy and warm this winter. 800-551-3040 or SierraPacificHome.com. Those are your top stories. Now back to the drive on Sports 1140 KHTK.
It's The Drive on Sports 1140 KHTK.
Colt McCoy broke his leg last night. That's 2 leg breaks for the Redskins. Obviously not as crazy as Alex Smith was, but it's still a broken leg. He's out. Is it okay? Am I a bad person?
Yes.
Okay, true. But am I a worse person for feeling absolutely terrible for the players being injured on the Redskins and at the same time not having an ounce of sympathy for Dan Snyder?
No.
You sure? I feel
Yeah,
like that's
'cause I feel
kinda
the
on
same
line.
way.
All right. I perpetually feel guilty about things, and I try to check myself.
Like I feel
on emotions.
I always feel terrible when athletes get hurt because they're ultimately putting their bodies on the line for our entertainment. And it's such an awful feeling, and I think everybody listening can relate. But with Washington, it's just like I don't want that team to have any modicum of success
At all.
Like Dan Snyder's just the worst. I would rather them go 0-16, everybody stay totally healthy.
Yes.
But I don't feel remorse for the Redskins. Like, oh man, their season down the drain. Like Alex Smith's season is over, and maybe his career. And it's like, dang, that sucks.
And I've always had a soft spot for Alex Smith.
Right, I feel terrible about that. I don't feel terrible that Washington is no longer in contention in the NFC East. That just doesn't even move the needle for me.
Yeah,
it's their fault they have Mark Sanchez now, and not a quarterback that went to the Super Bowl. But
339-1140 1-800-920.
Just lob that grenade.
1140. Somebody brought up this on the text line. This was actually a decent thing to bring up. He said, the whole Luka Bagley thing, going back to that from an hour ago, it would be like Niner fans bringing up they should have drafted Aaron Rodgers instead of Alex Smith. Well, first off, they do. Second off, if the same front office were in place now that was in place when that happened, that would be a valid conversation. And third, there was not as big an argument over Smith versus Rodgers. Let's remember that clearly.
The revisionist history on that has been remarkable.
It really has.
And Aaron Rodgers did not go 2. He went, 25?
Right.
Like, he slid a long way. But anyways, I wrote this article when I first started at Niners Wire.
Where'd you start?
NinersWire.com.
Okay.
And it was this is a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it was this article that at one point was like, did a sidebar that was like, did you know the 49ers could have drafted Aaron Rodgers instead of Alex Smith?
Yeah.
And gave a whole obvious history on it.
Uh-huh.
And dude, so many people were like, yeah, we know. Everybody knows that. Yeah, it's Actually, it gets brought up all the time. People always talk about it. Like, yeah.
I didn't know. I'd completely forgotten. Katie's going to join us here right now. Kyle's going to get her
KHT
on
Katie.
Kayte Hunter. It is National Cookie Day. I brought this up before the break. You got to pick one cookie for the rest of your life. What would it be? I'm going to stay away from specialty cookies. I'm sure there's a cookie out there that somebody could bake that would be my number one choice. But if it's cookies I can buy in a store, that's kind of how I think about it. I'm going to go with white chocolate macadamia nut, the soft version. Kyle's giving me a look. Why? Because it has nuts in it, so that's healthy. White chocolate macadamia nut chunk, whatever you call it. I'm fine with that. I mean, I could go with your basic Oreo.
Do I get all iterations of the cookie and the dough?
What do you mean by that? Get Katie on the phone and then explain it to me. It's a conversation. Tired of all these national days anyways. Every day is a national day. I'm declaring this National Katie returning to the pre-half and post-game day. That's what it is. Now, finish your thought, Kyle. We'll bring Katie on. Finish your thought so Katie can hear you.
Do I get... So you picked white chocolate macadamia nuts.
If I had to live on one cookie
does
for the
that
rest of my
mean
life.
you just get a tub of the dough and it is yours to do with what you will?
Sure. If you want to go there, yes.
Okay, great. Then I'm picking sugar.
Oh, because you can add things to it,
yes,
and you use it as a base.
Yes,
that's a cop out.
No,
that's a
no.
Hey,
here's
Ben
mostly
Simmons.
what I want.
Ben Simmons, that's a coward answer.
Hey, here's mostly what I want. I want to be able to roll the dough out on a pizza dish, and then spread cream cheese on it, and then cut strawberries over the top, and cut it in pizza slices and eat it.
You put fruit on a cookie?
Yeah, dude, it's delicious.
Katie,
it is delicious. Hey, grow up.
Katie.
It's delicious.
That's a fat kid response right there for sure.
She just threw
Take a sugar cookie and add cream cheese to it. That is something I would do. I'm right there, right with you, Kyle.
Katie, my love for you is well documented, and my respect for you as a cook, as a chef, as a baker. You have it. You and I, Katie and I are both culinary fans and have oftentimes debated, conversed, and taste tested many a thing together. In fact, Katie's cheese plates are beyond reproach. She always gets this one mushy cheese that I don't know what it is that I go crazy over. No, it's not brie. It's Katie. What is it? What's the mushy cheese?
I think the one you're talking about, it's either the burrata or the camembert that you like.
The camembert, isn't that brie though? It's the one that spills out when you cut it on your little
burrata.
Burrata, yeah. So today's National Cookie Day. You got to have one cookie for the rest of your life. And screw Kyle's thing where he cheated. I take it all back. You have to have the cookie as is.
Yeah, no, I 100% am a chocolate chip cookie person.
Okay, so you stay basic.
I'm like just basic, yeah.
Okay.
I think in that instance, I'm going snickerdoodle.
From the 916, I hope Vontez Burfict has to eat plain sugar cookies for the rest of his life. That's damn good. Yeah, sugar cookie's garbage. The sugar cookie is trash by itself. I don't even know. The sugar cookies, Katie, that people make for Christmas with the sprinkles on them, that's trash.
You have to put a lot of frosting on them.
Yes.
And even then, I can only have one. I'm not a big fan of sugar cookies.
You know what I really rock with is a good butter cookie.
Are you? You're just being.
No,
I'm
dead serious because
now,
I'm not big.
Here's a question.
Is
a macaroon a cookie?
Oh snap!
Okay, I just learned this
recently. If a macaroon is a cookie, I'll do a macaroon all day, every day.
Isn't the macaroon like the crunchy cookie with the coconut on it?
No,
that's a macaron.
No. That's a macaron. You're right.
No, it's not a macaron.
Yes,
Hold on, a macaron's the one I just learned. This it looks like a hamburger with the icing in the middle.
With the filling, yeah, that's a macaroon.
No, that's a macaron.
Okay,
Katie, you taught me this. You had a bunch of them at your house.
No, it's a macaroon.
Anyways, I'm not big into like sweets, so a butter cookie has more of a kind of savory flavor that I like very much.
Oh.
And I could just eat a bucket of them and be okay with it.
So
Dave is intently looking up the difference.
You know why? Because I'm pissed. I'm pissed, and I'll tell you why. Because I learned this from Katie. Kyle, describe for me this photo of macarons.
That is a colorful hamburger.
It's a hamburger with filling in the middle.
Yes.
And the macaroon is the other thing with the I'm not as confident on a macaroon, okay, so I'm going to back off. But a macaron is the cookie hamburger. I don't want to talk Kings now. Thanks for joining us, Kayte. Now
Kings.
You're returning tonight, and we're all just really excited.
No fake out this time. I really am coming back.
You're really coming back now. So I have a couple. We have a couple basic questions for you to start this out. Number one, and be honest, and none of your false machismo or whatever you call it here. Are you even a little nervous?
I had a hard time sleeping last night, and I was like lying in bed. Yeah, I know, but sleep has actually been a pretty good thing for me over the last few weeks. She's done really well, but she's lying. She sleeps on the if you're facing the bed, she sleeps on the right side of the bed. I sleep in the middle, and my husband sleeps on the left. So I'm in between. I'm like a Kayte sandwich last night, and I'm laying there, and he's been knocked out for like 2 hours, and she is 100% like asleep and just nestled up to me, and I'm on my phone reading Kings news. It was just, I don't think it's like a nervousness. I think it's just like I'm returning to that mode, if you will.
Sure.
So that's a difficult thing after being in like mom mode for a couple months.
Now let me ask you. And of course, I'm the guy that when I was 12 years old slept with a kitten and rolled over. And that story. Rolled over on the kitten. When Avery was born, she was our first. Melissa used to bring her in to the bed, and I would make her put Avery on her side, even though there was an edge there, or I was terrified to sleep with the baby in between us. Did you have that same fear, or did you, knowing you probably built like a special barrier to prevent anything?
No, I'm not crazy like that. When she's not sleeping in her own like bassinet or crib yet.
Sure.
So she's been sleeping with us for 2.5 months. And in the beginning, she slept in the middle of us in her there's like a little boppy for infants that's like it's just this wonderful little like cushion for them. And she loved it. And that was the only way she would sleep early on. And then it got to the point where I was like, I really miss being able to touch my husband. It sounds crazy. I do enjoy my husband, so I want to be near him. And so what we did is we put like a wedge on my side of the bed and put her there, and I sleep in the middle. And I actually really like sleeping that way, and I like her being in bed with us. But she just sleeps in bed on her back with us. I know a lot of people are like, oh, you can't do that.
Here come the letters.
In there. Yeah, I know. I'm going to get the tweets and the things on Facebook and all this stuff, but this is what really works for her. And she likes to sleep on her side, and so she kind of nestles right up to me and like spoons me. So I really enjoy it. I love sleeping with her, and I'm already starting to dread the fact that we're going to have to start, at about 4 months, I think we're going to start kind of crib training her. So I'm going to enjoy this last month and a half while I can.
Last question for you on the family, then we'll move on to Kings and stuff. When you're going to San Francisco tonight to do the pre-half and post, will there be a baby on set?
No, not tonight. No. No, Joseph is going to have her today and tonight. He's going to have both kiddos tonight.
All
so
right.
It's his first go with both of them at the same time without me here. So he's more than capable of managing it. So the only thing that is going to work with me tonight is my breast pump. So that should be fun.
Okay, good. Now, have you gotten that sponsored yet?
I know. My breast pump brought to you by,
Kayte Hunter. I promised myself I'd try to get this right for the entire segment. Joining us.
You know what? We need to make a bet, because I've only heard Grant mention, like at the very, very beginning of the season, Katie Christensen will join us later in the season.
Yes.
And I'm like, I wonder if Grant's going to fumble that up too in the beginning.
Sure.
It's an adjustment for people. It absolutely is.
What's the bet? You said we need to make a bet.
I think that Grant will probably slip at least once.
Tonight, you're saying?
No, I mean tonight that's the interesting part is I'm in studio for my first 4 games back. I'm not on the sidelines until the 12th. So usually, at the beginning of the game, he tosses it to me for my first hit. I'm gonna bet that at least one time he slips up on accident.
All right, and I would say the odds are in your favor. The odds are definitely in favor of you winning. I'm gonna legitimately, and not just for radio purposes, I'm gonna take the other side. I'll tell you why, and you know this. Grant,
he's a professional.
He is, dude. You know that he obsesses on names. In fact, we had a phone conversation after the Pacers Kings game the other night, and there was
Bojan and
Bojan and Bogdan was
Bojan.
That was the one. What got me though, and what got some people on Twitter was that our bogey was Bogdan Bogdanovic, Bo. And
he's Bogdanovich.
Right, it's Bojan Bogdanovic, and Grant was purposely going Bogdan and Bogdanovic. So I asked him, and he goes, no, I look at the thing, and, I look at that, and it's from a different part of whatever. Like, he knew the whole history.
Yeah, they're not even from the same country.
Right.
So yeah.
Although Kayte, we've talked about this, I'm secretly hoping, because we do need a 3 forward, I am hoping because Bojan Bogdanovic is a free agent this summer, I would love nothing more just to watch you and Grant and Doug all struggle with it in a good way. I would love nothing. I want them all to be on our team. I want all the bogeys.
Why don't we bring a Detakumbo over? We
sure.
Can do that. We've already got Belly on the team. Let's just make it the all-international team and see how we can get the names right. Yeah.
I think Kyle's looking at me. I think that's now going to become the drive question of the day, and I'm going to put this out on Twitter.
Bogmeal raisin.
What would be the best NBA team you could assemble right now that would also be the hardest team to pronounce?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's very good.
Because I think Adetokumbo. Wait, hold on. Adetokumbo?
Adetokumbo. Mm-hmm.
Adetokumbo. That would be your number 1 pick, obviously.
Oh, yeah. And people still get his. I was so furious with the TNT crew, though. Like, you can't get Bogdanovic's name right. I was offended. I can't. And Bogey is such a nice guy. He's so like, oh, no big deal, It's like, no, you're a professional in this league. They absolutely owe you the courtesy of learning to say your freaking name. Yeah.
Like Kayte Hunter joining us.
Yeah, I know it's really difficult, huh?
On the drive. All right, so you're coming back tonight, and knowing you probably had your little glasses on and have been up since yesterday, obsessing over Suns and Kings numbers. I'll ask you a general question. Kings are 11-11. Going into this 4-game road trip, of which at least 2, if not 3, of these games are absolutely winnable. What is interesting about tonight's game, and I love that you're coming back for this particular game, is what maybe some people don't realize or forgot, is that the Kings probably better than any other team, but if you had to pick a second, players are different now, I understand that, but you work down in Phoenix and the Suns and their operations very well. Yeah. Would you agree, or am I going overboard, the Kings are favored by 6 points tonight in Phoenix? This should be, without Devin Booker, a game the Kings, again, air quotes, should win.
Oh, they absolutely should win this game, and it's actually one of those where if they don't, you should actually be upset about it.
Yep.
Which is kind of a change in thinking, if you will, from what we've kind of gone through the last several years, because the Kings going on the road, legitimately, road games obviously more difficult than home games. We don't have to explain that. But that was, in the past, playing the Suns, it was like, oh, it's a toss-up on who should win this game. But the way that the Kings have played this season, and I love the attention and the love they're kind of getting, and I read a breakdown last night about, kind of ranking point guards in the league, and was really curious to see where De'Aaron was. And I love the fact that they're starting to get some respect, because it's been a decade. As a Kings fan, it's been a decade or so since this team has gotten even a little bit of respect on a national level. They still don't get enough attention. That's fine. It's kind of nice to be the underdog, but I think that the way this team is playing, not only should they be favored, but you should be upset if they lose this game.
What do you think the key is? It as easy as saying De'Aaron Fox is the key to why the Kings are 11-11 this year, or do you see other things contributing?
Oh man, I think there's obviously a lot of things that are contributing, but I think De'Aaron is such a key to the whole thing. And when I spoke to Buddy Hield and I spoke to Bogey when I went to practice about a month ago, and I was kind of asking them the same thing, like, what do you feel the difference is in this team this year? And both of them immediately said De'Aaron, and said that he is without a doubt their leader. He's the one that that kind of pushes them, and it's like they go as he goes type thing. And as you know, Buddy's played tremendously this season, and Bogey is looking really good since he's come back from his knee surgery. But the thing that stuck out to me, I asked, Bogey's like, I noticed a change in him last year when he did not get selected for the All-Star. And he's like, from that point on, when he didn't get selected for the USA team, he's like, from that point on, I noticed a change in him, and it's carried over to this season. And I think the most impressive thing about him to me this season has been the jump in his shooting, because that was really the knock on him. And usually it takes 2-3 years for that to really come around. But there's been such an increase in his accuracy this season, and it's been great. But you kind of see that kind of carry through the whole team. Like, I haven't seen Justin Jackson look this confident at all as a professional. And he's coming in. It used to be like he wouldn't look for his own shot. He's coming in and taking step-up threes. And I think that again, is just kind of the way that De'Aaron is playing is leaking through to the rest of the team, and they're all on the same page.
Kayte Hunter joining us. Kayte, I am very split on Justin Jackson. The fans, I don't think, are that split. I think 90-10 are ridiculously frustrated with him.
Oh, yeah.
I split it, and part of that, Kayte, I admit, is because, we know the guy a little bit, and he is the nicest, sweetest, coolest cat, and it's not like he doesn't want to succeed. In the end, does he, this is tough to say deserve, but does he deserve the heat he gets, or do you see something else there?
I don't think he deserves it entirely. But as a professional, you're always going to get it. Therefore, you deserve it because you're a professional. You know,
sure.
And he's not like a one and done from college. He played a while longer. But the fact of, I think he was a 3-year guy, if I remember.
Yeah,
was he a 4-year guy?
3 or 4. I thought it was a 4-year. I could be wrong though.
I thought he was 3, but
okay.
It doesn't matter. It's neither here nor there. He played in college longer than your typical kind of NBA rookie. And so you kind of expect a transition and a 2 to 3 year period for young guys to really show you what they're capable of in the league. I think he's at a disadvantage in the sense that despite playing in college longer, he came in with De'Aaron Fox. And De'Aaron he is a tremendous player. And he is the type of person that you hand over a franchise to. And that's what the Kings are doing. So by comparison, I think that Justin Jackson fans are frustrated because he has not made the jumps that De'Aaron has made. But he was never supposed to. That's not the type of player that they thought he was going to be. I don't think anyone in the organization, maybe fans, because fans look at the game a little bit differently and have different expectations. I don't think anyone in the organization thought Justin Jackson is going to be an all-star, in 3 years. That's not what it is. So I think that he's making progress, but it's also one of those things where there's so much change from year to year, and I think sometimes players struggle with that. I think he's done a fairly decent job in the sense of just making sure that he's starting to look for his own shot, playing with more confidence. It doesn't mean he's accurate, doesn't mean he's playing at the level where he should be yet, but I think he's made strides.
Kayte Hunter with us. Justin Jackson did play at North Carolina for 3 years, so I was right.
See, it's like I'm maybe a little rusty, but I do know some things.
You know a couple things. Hey,
yeah.
How many other people tagged you on Facebook with the Golden Girls apparel?
Just you.
Just me? I mean...
So I bought this great board game the other day at Target. It is a Golden Girls board game, and I just so desperately, it's like, at Christmas you don't buy yourself things because I'm like, no, I'm absolutely buying that for myself, and I have no idea who I'm going to play it with because you have to have knowledge of the show.
Yeah, that's
but
the thing. You just go through on the couch and try to ask yourself all the questions.
Yeah, I also have the Friends game, which I've never opened, but I've probably had that for 10 years.
I was debating what to get you guys for Christmas, and it was either the Golden Girls shirts or I don't know. You probably have these, but there are these things you put on top of a wine bottle when you open it, and they're aerators, but it's like a lion head, an octopus, a rhino, and then so like for the lion, it comes out of the lion's mouth. But it also it's an aerator at the same time. I guess you'd have to see it. But then I thought about it. I don't know. Like it might be a while before you're back in the wine zone. So I was kind of leaning towards the Golden Girls.
I'm not dead.
Well, I know. I don't know. I
had a glass of wine last night.
Oh, okay. I don't know what the rules are. I never.
Again, I think the rules are different for everybody.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like you're doing great.
But I was up at 2:00 this morning pumping. So this is what my nights consist of.
We got to get your pump a sponsor.
I know.
We're all very glad you're back. And
I'm excited. I'm excited to come back. It's a little bittersweet, but I'm excited to be covering this team. They're playing really well, and it's going to be fun.
All right. Well, we'll check you out on NBC Sports California pre-half and post tonight. Now, remember, when you see Katie or Jerry or any of these other broadcasters doing that, they're driving to San Francisco. They're doing the show. They're driving back. And, yeah, they get paid. And, yes, they get paid well. But still, that's a heck of a commitment. And we always appreciate that. So we'll look forward to you. And in fact, every time we want a shout-out on the show. So anytime you say Kings tonight, that means you're saying hello to Kyle and me.
Okay.
That'll be our secret code. All right, say hi to Joseph and give the chubby little cheek baby a kiss for all of us, okay?
All right, you guys take care.
All right, take care. It's Katie Christensen. God. I made it through the whole interview. I made it through the whole interview. Reset it 3 times as Kayte Hunter. And then I hang up. What do you want from me? Nobody should ever change their name. That's my opinion. Nobody ever should change their name. Everybody keep the same name. My wife did. We'll take a break.
Jeez. Hey. Speaking of which, Peak Financial wants to talk retirement. Dial pound 250 and say the word money. You're welcome.
Matt Barrows joins us next on the Fire Wings hotline. 21 different flavors to choose from. Firewings.com. Just wing it. We'll check in on the San Francisco 49ers. Matt Barrows, The Athletic, in 2 minutes. Sports 1140 KHTK.